This is the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History. I'm Lucky Severson. Welcome. This is Invention. There's something fascinating about glass. It's simply sand melted by fire, blown into extraordinary shapes by air. There is, of course, some skill required. The man who made these glass objects has taken glass blowing to a whole new level. He lives and works in a boathouse on Lake Union in Seattle, Washington. His name is Dale Chihuly.
It's a total mystery how anybody ever thought of blowing glass. It's one of those inventions, you might say, that's really astounding. It's a magical thing, this blowing human air down the pipe, and voila, you get this bubble. Interestingly enough, it's the only material you can do it with. You can't blow steel, you can't really blow plastic. Nothing else you can really blow and control.
We want it thick down there, Mark.
Okay, thicken it up, Pat, right now.
Dale Chihuly is a designer by training. He became interested in glass blowing in the 1960s.
Get it.
It was a difficult craft to learn because glass blowing can be expensive. It cost Chihuly $5,000 a day to run this hot shop. And until recently, the secrets of glass blowing have been carefully hidden since their discovery 5,000 years ago.
By the time the 15th century came along, the Venetians had mastered glass blowing, and they put all the glass blowers out on a little island called Murano next to Venice. And the glass blowing was a very important commodity to the Venetians, so they didn't want these glass blowers to leave. And it became very secretive. And if you were a glass blower and you left Venice and got caught, you were beheaded. And if you got to England, which some of them did, you were knighted. You were the only craftsman that could be knighted in England was a glass blower.
With a Fulbright scholarship, Chihuly managed the impossible, getting onto Murano Island. He found that the basic tools hadn't changed much since glass was first blown.
But the glass blowing bench is identical to what it was 2,000 years ago. Those tong-like tools that he's holding are called snips. And that wooden thing is a block. All of those tools are exactly like they were. No change really whatsoever. And if they were blowing glass in a furnace 1,500 years ago, it would blow the same way as way it's working now. And we put it into an oven when it's finished. It's called an annealing oven. It has to cool down slowly overnight. If it cools down too quickly, it breaks. Now that oven is computerized with electronic elements, and it used to be run with wood or something, but it'd be identical. The environment's the same. It's just the computers make it a little easier to control.
The most important lesson Chihuly learned in Italy was that glass blowing is a team effort.
In the shop here, we usually work with a team, and they work on two benches. And it starts with some color that we get onto the pipe, and then you gather up glass out of the furnace. Depending on how large the piece is, you may have up to 6 or 8 gathers of glass. Colored glass can be added onto those gathers by wrapping it around the piece, what we call a body wrap. And then you hand it to the master glass blower, and he blows it up a little bit more. Eventually, when he gets it the way he wants it, he transfers it over to a solid rod called a punty. It's heated up in the glory hole, it's prepared in a certain way. There's a lip wrap that goes around the top when the hole is still quite small. And then it's heated up and spun open. And it's this centrifugal force of the spinning of the molten glass out. And it's gravity when you hang it down that makes the shape. This is really what the part of it that I probably, as an artist, developed more. And my claim to fame in glassblowing would be working with it, with the heat and the fire and the gravity. not even using those few tools that we mentioned earlier very much, but mostly working with the heat, the fire, the centrifugal force, the gravity, these elements of nature.
I love doing this. It's really fun. There's nothing casual about it, but it's also, when it's right, you know you've just done something so difficult that it's just like a real great sense of satisfaction. When that piece spins out, you know, and it just grows, there's nothing going on in the world, nothing but that piece, watching that piece. I have no arms, I have no legs, and I'm just watching this thing, and it's just growing, and it's like you're somewhere else. And it's just an exquisite feeling.
Dale Chihuly has raised glass blowing from a craft to an art form. His Poltech School in Seattle and his permanent exhibit at Tacoma's restored Union Station have made Seattle-Tacoma an international glassblowing center.
See what all those colors did to this.
He hasn't blown glass himself since he lost the use of his eye in an automobile accident. Without depth perception, he could be a menace, whirling 80 pounds of molten glass around the hot shop floor.
I'm just thinking about a big vase on the stage.
So Dale Chihuly draws his new pieces with bold strokes and vivid colors to show his team of glass blowers what he wants.
In a funny way, it's sort of like being a director of a movie. You know, the director sort of controls things and runs things, and you have a cameraman, a lighting man, sound man, and you're able to watch all these elements simultaneously. But if you're down there as the gaffer or the master blower is, then you can only concentrate on that final form that you're doing, and it's pretty exhausting and pretty draining.
We got a base piece.
So some ways, by standing back from it in the way that I do, I have a better sense of what's going on. Actually, I have more control by staying back.
That's a gorgeous book.
Dale Chihuly will continue to work big. He's planning to make chandeliers in each of 5 European countries, working with local glass blowers. When every chandelier is complete, he'll hang them in the canals of Venice. We'll try to be there.